Alright, fair enough. Meditation and yoga probably is not for everybody. Despite what you might think when first looking at me, it's not really for me either. But let's face it, the last year has been kind of rubbish for most of us. It's safe to say many of us have had enough to worry about this last year to last us a lifetime. So how do we battle the boredom, the stress and worry that feels never ending at the moment, especially when we can't really leave the house as much as we'd like? I guess that might work. What I want to do in this video is highlight Nintendo Switch games that I feel are a perfect deterrent in many ways, a form of meditation that I personally have found reassuring and a perfect way to pass the time during this that we find ourselves in. Hopefully you'll find a game which looks interesting to you too. My name's Curtis and these are my 5 soothing Switch games to help keep you calm in these tough times. With a beautiful hand-drawn art style, a stunning soundtrack and a story which will just warm the soul, An Old Man's Journey is a perfect pick-up-and-play indie game from the developers at Broken Rules. The story centres around an old man. You probably already guessed that. And through imagery alone we follow the journey through some exquisite landscapes. Along the way you will encounter small pockets of his life story told through flashbacks which pull together his journey. The gameplay is centred around manipulating the landscape to help Old Man traverse the land to reach his final destination, which I won't ruin for you now. This is all backed up with a gorgeous, calming soundtrack. It's the perfect game to sit back and break away from what's going on in the world at the moment. Just a couple of things to be aware of. It is only a very short game. It's only around 2 hours long, you won't be escaping for long. But the carefree nature of the puzzles will at least keep you entertained throughout that time. For €8.99 in the UK, €9.99 in the US and €9.99 Euros, it's really up to you to decide if you feel that 2 hours gameplay is worth that price. However, as somebody who likes to go through the eShop sales most week, An Old Man's Journey does often feature at a heavily discounted price, so if I were you, I'd probably consider waiting for a sale. But for a calming, breezy sort of game, you can't go far wrong with Old Man's Story. Have you ever looked at your Switch library and thought, it looks great? Lots of interesting characters, great stories, fantastic adventures. But why am I not able to experience a game as a Goose? Well, look no further folks, Untitled Goose game is here to scratch that itch. From House developers comes a game which sees you run around causing mischief as a goose. Set in an idyllic village, it's your job to cause havoc amongst the residents. Whether it's bothering the local shop owners, stealing some poor child's glasses and toy aeroplane, or causing chaos with a village farmer, you'll really get an idea of how it feels to be a mischievous goose. As with Old Man's Journey, you'll find no dodgy voice acting here, just some excellent visuals and a beautiful classical soundtrack which perfectly fits in with the carefree village lifestyle. One thing that all the games in this list have got in common is the excellent visuals. Untitled Goose game does not disappoint in this area. It really does feel like you are a goosey resident. For one thing, it's nice to feel like you can go outside again, even if it is as a goose. As far as I'm aware, geese cannot get COVID. Can we just check? No, geese cannot get COVID. It's not the longest game in the world, at 3 hours, but with a large list of annoying antics to keep you busy, and with now the option of a 2-player co-op mode, there is every reason to keep coming back to this calm, quaint, carefree village. Be aware as well that you can also get a physical version of the game if you want to add to your physical collection. One of Nintendo's cutest mascots is back for a stylistic 2.5D adventure. Without even going into gameplay, music, level design, actually, let's just take a look at the protagonist of Yoshi's Crafted World. I think you can see why this game is on my list. He's a teeny tiny dinosaur with a teeny tiny smile and a teeny tiny shell. He just warms the heart, and this level of warmth continues throughout the rest of the game. The story of Yoshi's Crafted World is certainly not groundbreaking and very true to the Nintendo formula. But then again, it really does not need to be groundbreaking or reinvent the wheel. The Yoshis are living their peaceful life, COVID-free on Yoshi's Island, with all their cuteness and their teeny tiny shells. Then out of nowhere, Baby Bowser and Kamek, two of the most adorable baddies in the Nintendo world, attempt to steal the magical Sundream Stone, or as my autocorrect on the script has deduced, the magical Sundream Stone. A stone with the ability to make anyone's dreams come true. In the chaos, the stone gems are thrown across the world for Yoshi to go and collect to save the world. Such as the story, the game plays very true to the Yoshi norm. You can swallow enemies, turn them to eggs, jump and double jump your way across 40 or so levels. As you can see from the gameplay footage, each level has, as the name would suggest, a beautiful handcrafted, made of cardboard theme, which you are able to interact with in a variety of different ways. It's not a hard game, perfect for new and experienced gamers. Its themes and environments are perfect to escape the hullabaloo of everyday life. From throwing enemy eggs at the environment to unveil secrets, to pushing levers and unveiling cloud secrets, there is a lot to do in this game, and with each of the levels having a certain number of cute sunflowers for you to collect, and the ability to experience each of these levels from a different angle. This game should keep you busy with all of the Yoshi cuteness for around 10 hours for the main story, but anywhere up to 30 plus for your completionists out there. I'd say the best simile that I can use for the marvel that is Abzu is it's like having sand run through your fingertips. In many ways, I can only describe Abzu as an almost spiritual experience, taking you to an underwater world unlike any I have ever experienced in a video game. The story is a vague story of dark and light, with the villain of the piece being a large mechanical pyramid that has dragged the underwater world into darkness. Your job is to interact with the environment to unleash the light and release sea creatures to, in a sense, wake up the ocean. The real highlight of the game is the gameplay. The fluid motion in which the character, who for the sake of this video we'll call Weird Cat Swimmer Guy, look at him, or her, traverses through the dazzling setting that Abzu offers is something truly unique. The way in which the sea creatures swim around, connects with each other, and you as the Weird Cat Swimmer Guy, is different from anything I've ever seen, particularly from a Nintendo Switch game. When Abzu first came to the Switch, I was a bit concerned that the Switch, with the particular demands of the game, may struggle to cope, and that frame rates may drastically reduce the experience of Abzu. Thankfully, my tears were quashed upon first playthrough. It plays wonderfully. It sounds wonderful too, with a sometimes eerie yet always relaxing and wholly appropriate classical soundtrack weaving its way through the game. For a mellow, soothing list of Nintendo Switch games, to not include this gem will be a disservice to anybody watching this video. In fact, here's the main menu. Yet, meditation is a menu in this game. At certain points throughout your adventure, you are able to find meditation spots with which you can perch and watch the sea creatures go by and get lost with. This gentle game will take you a short 2 hours to finish. However, if you are looking for everything in the game, you'll be looking at around double that. At $14.99 in the UK, $19.99 in the US, or €19.99, it may be a tough pill to swallow, but for anybody wanting a game to chill and get lost with in a chanting, meditative world, you cannot go too far wrong with Abzu. To be honest, this video, in fact this channel, probably wouldn't have come about had it not been for the exponential growth in sales of the Nintendo Switch and the meteoric rise in the phenomenon that is Animal Crossing. The numbers don't lie. With over 25 million sales in just over a year of release, Animal Crossing really has been the perfect escape for many of us over this difficult year. With the ability to literally break away to your own perfect desert island and customization options seen in very few games, the Animal Crossing phenomenon continues to grow. You don't really need me to tell you why this game is so popular. For anybody stressed out who wants to sit back and kill a few hours on their own island escape, You cannot do better at the minute than Animal Crossing's New Horizons. The whimsical characters, the Nintendo art style, the seemingly endless items you can use to create your perfect life, and the continued updates delivered by Nintendo keeps people switching on. For a relaxing, melancholy game, Animal Crossing really has got a bit of everything going for it. It's very easy to pick up and play. You can literally sink days of your life into doing different activities, whether that's going fishing, catching bugs, or digging for and collecting fossils. You will always have something to do. If these don't take your fancy, you can always visit friends with a Nintendo Switch Online membership, which isn't annoying at all and always works perfectly. Most of the time, it's alright. It's got better. One tip I will give about Animal Crossing is that if you have the space and you're not a physical collector, I'd highly recommend buying the digital copy of the game. The one thing I've found is that switching cartridges for a game that you may only wish to play for a short burst of time in your day to, for example, dig up the day's fossils or collecting the day's shells can be a little frustrating. Overall though, just spending this last year with Animal Crossing has really helped me handle this year a little bit better and let me escape to my own slice of paradise. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you did, please feel free to subscribe and hit the thumbs up down below. I'm going to try and post 2 or 3 times a week, all things Nintendo. And let me know some games you find nice and mellow and relaxing down below in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you for watching. Boo wanted to be in the video, so here she is. This is my dog, Boo. Gonna kiss her. Scoochie, scoochie.